Hello, everyone, and welcome to the State of MMA today. We're at the second episode. Thank you to everyone for tuning in. If you're new to the channel and you missed out on the first episode, it's okay. Just go back and check it out. It's right there. Also, don't forget to just like the video, subscribe to the channel, and you'll never miss one. So that's okay. If you didn't get the spiel from the first one and you need to know what this is about, we'll give it to you again here a little bit. If you have a story you want to share about a fighter or a local gym around your area, be sure to send it to me. That's what we're doing here. That's what we're going to promote. Every week, we're going to have a fighter spotlight and a gym in the background in the green screen studio that's going to kind of promote and get in the limelight for everybody else to see that I think may or may not be getting enough of their own press or promotion on that side of the story. Did you guys see UFC 225? If you didn't, it's okay. You didn't miss much. We're going to break a little bit of it down today. Don't worry about it. You didn't miss a whole lot. It did sell out. That's a good thing, right? It hit some records for the United Center, so that was pretty good. I was happy about that. The UFC seemed happy about that. The rumor is their pay-per-view buys were a little low, but that's been happening. You can't really say that's because of the card and how it was, because we really didn't know how it was going to go until you watched it all. But everybody thought we were going to get a big draw from CM Punk. Everybody's going to come in and buy the pay-per-view. That didn't happen. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. It is what it is. But without any further ado, let's go over to the card. We're going to touch base on a few things I touched on last week and a little bit more to go from here. All right. We are going to look through the early Fight Pass prelims with a little shout out, I guess, to Oliveira for beating the super energetic Clay Guida. I don't know if you guys saw before the fight, but Clay Guida looked like he was just sprinting around and just hopped up on all the pre-workout. He always does. But it's just phenomenal to see him keep doing that. I would have liked to see Guida come out with a win, but unfortunately we didn't get to see that. Hats off to Oliveira. He got, I think, a fight of the night bonus or one of the bonuses or whatever they give out now. I forget what it is. If it was submission of the night, now it's fight of the night or performance of the night. He got one of the bonuses. He got a performance of the night. I think Whitaker Romero got the fight of the night, which it should. That's everything for the early pass prelims, I guess. Fight Pass prelims. There's not really much there to talk about. You get over to the FS1 prelims, and all this can be seen if you go to ufc.com/event/UFC225. This is all I'm looking at here. De La Rocha, a powerful dad bod, comes out with the win. I was very, very surprised. Very surprised. He just smothered Rashad Coulter into the ground to where he just couldn't breathe and then just ended up taking the fight by KO, TKO. It could have been little rabbit punch. He could have submitted him and done whatever at this point. He was just smothering him. So out of all my disrespect that I was throwing at him for the dad bod, we give you some shout out there, Mr. De La Rocha. Curtis Blades. Curtis Blades, boys. What are we going to do about him? You'll find out next week. I'll give you a little hint. Next week's spotlight is going to be Curtis Blades. We got much, much more to talk about Curtis Blades. About the performance, it was really good. He was rocked a few times, super, super heavy. He was on the ground. He was trying to grapple. I think Overeem could have taken advantage of it a few more times, maybe put some more pressure on him, but I think he was afraid for that takedown and getting bullied. Curtis Blades looked really, really good. He looked well-rounded. I'm still worried about top-tier talent, Stipe Miocic, maybe a Daniel Cormier if he stays champion, that possible rematch to Francis Ngannou after his only loss is to Francis. So you still got there and that heavy hands. We'll talk about all that later. But all in all, hats off to Curtis Blades. Absolute good performance. Overeem, back to the drawing board. Let's see where you go from there. We don't know. I'm going to breeze past this because I don't even want to really talk about it, but we're going to drop it a little bit. CM Punk, Mike Jackson was the single worst fight I have ever watched on a UFC card. Period. The single worst fight ever. CM Punk, and Joe Rogan said it best, CM Punk has no talent. None. Maybe you could say he can get a double leg that could be a little bit better, but I've seen amateur fighters. This is my amateur background. I have an amateur fighting record. I've seen amateurs that just walked in and have some high school wrestling experience have a better double leg, have a better all understanding of MMA. Just weird spinning back fists that were just nowhere near their target. His timing wasn't there. His footwork wasn't there. Straightforward every time. Didn't move around. Wasn't really throwing anything that seemed to hurt or touch you at all. And when it didn't go to the ground, it was just a positional disadvantage. If you were a tactician, or if you watch fights and you know fights, you watch him get put somebody into a position, and then Jackson would just move him. He would get double unders against the cage. He'd work around, spin the position, hold him up there. It was like he was in training camp, practicing against a guy who's been in for like 3 rounds. Let's say fresh, but probably 3 rounds. We'll give it that. It was just easy. If CM Punk didn't go out there and just blast him in the first round, I knew it was going to be over. He just looked super horrible. Moving on. Skipping one fight. We're going to touch on this one, the Arlovski Tuivasa fight, only because if you're going to get this special hint, the spotlight today is going to be about Tai Tuivasa. Just so you know. Teaser. Yeah. Anyway, we'll move on to Holly Holm, Megan Anderson. God, was I wrong. I was just wrong about how ready she was. Her striking looked really, really good, and it was clear that Holly Holm was scared of it. She got tagged with that early combination where Megan was dominating the first round, and it looked like this was it. She was going to come out and just pummel. And then Holly Holm channeled her inner wrestling Olympic gold medal championship somewhere that she found out of the back closet and destroyed Megan Anderson on the ground. If Megan Anderson thinks she's going to fight Cyborg anytime soon and do any better, she's very, 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 very mistaken. It was just a lack of knowledge on posture and position. And trust me, I'm a fan. I'm not off the train. I think she's the future of the weight division. Because once Cyborg goes, you need somebody. She's got the looks. She's got the talent. She's got the athleticism. She can do it. She's very vocal. She's well-spoken. Check, 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 check. She's a role model. All she needs to do is go to a wrestling camp and work on her jiu-jitsu and escaping off the back. Because she was in mount. She has long legs. You guys don't know because I haven't stood up. I'm 6'3". I've been in jiu-jitsu class. I know how to use my legs and my positioning and shrimp out, pressure on the hips, pushing away. There was none of that. She had a couple where she tried to put some pressure and buck up and move Holly. She wasn't positioning it well. Her legs were straight. They were not really doing anything with them too much. I would have liked to see some more activity. I think that's going to come with time. Again, she just started in, I think it was 2012. 2013, somewhere in there. Hats off to Holly Holm. Dominant performance. I'd love to see you to do that against all the girls at 135 and then come back and take the belt at 145, retire, walk away, and call it anew. You're going to be able to do everything. Hats off to her. Moving on to Dos Anjos, Colby Covington. What a great fight. What a great fight of back-and-forth fighters. People that are hating on Colby Covington, I'm not really a big fan of Colby at all. He talks a lot. He says things. It's like, again, I said it's The Rock back in the day. It's when he became the Brahma Bull in WWE. Everybody kind of was like, what is going on? We know this isn't you. Why are you being fake? And they just kind of went with it. Like, Colby Covington isn't that kind of guy. You look at his friends in there around his gym, the people he has in his corner. Come on. It's all an act. But that act frustrates people. Just like when Conor talks shit, it frustrates his opponent into doing dumb things. A la Jose Aldo KO in 13 seconds. And Rafael Dos Anjos looked like he was just playing into the game and then finally woke up in round 4 and realized he needed to do something and tried to push back and then he just got dismantled again. Colby Covington's the real deal. You're going to see someone test his chin that's got some striking. That's going to be an issue. You saw him a little wobbly. He had to hold on tight a lot. He got rocked a couple times where it was like, oh, man, you might not make it out of this if someone was a better striker. And Dos Anjos just isn't. He's good, but he's not great. He's going to be fighting Tyron Woodley next, Covington. I have to say this. I'm rooting for Colby Covington. Not that I don't like Tyron Woodley. It's just he's a boring champion. He's sat out now forever. He's more interested in talking to a lot of these celebrities and things of that sort, which is all fine. He's had his injury. He comes out after Colby takes the fight with Rafael Dos Anjos saying, I would have taken the fight with you in the first place. Why didn't you come? You were hiding, saying you weren't going to fight anybody unless it was GSP, Khabib, Conor, all these guys that are smaller than you besides GSP. I don't know. I don't know what to do with him. He made one of the most, brilliant strikers in MMA look boring. And that's hats off to him for able to do that. But he also made himself look boring and look bad. You can only do so much where you're scoring points. And people, just like in jiu-jitsu, you don't want to see point fighters. I don't want to watch someone score a takedown, hold on side control, not cause damage. Those fights aren't the greatest. They're kind of boring. Especially, they say, well, you gotta stop it. Yeah, you have to stop it. But it's also up to that fighter to choose to finish the fight. And if you're that dominant holding position, there should be a little bit more advancement in trying to end the fight. Tyron Woodley's got his overhand right, his big bomb. He could always knock somebody out, so Colby's got to watch out for that. He could get rocked, and it could be over. We could see Colby Covington knocked out like that, and Tyron Woodley is the champ. I don't know. But I've also watched Stephen Wonderboy Thompson stray away from that big knockout power. See if he can do it. Awesome fight. Hats off to Colby. Congratulations on the win. Look forward to the next bout with Tyron Woodley. Moving on, the controversial fight of all controversial fights for the card. Yoel Romero, Robert Whittaker. Started off with a weight cut. I still believe that it was a commission issue. I guess there's videos now of the commission laughing at him as Yoel Romero is trying to cut weight. Just handled improperly. Just tisk, Chicago. You shouldn't be handling stuff like this. Be professional. Come on. They gave him an hour less than he should be. They're supposed to be 2 hours. They stated they gave him 2 hours. They gave him an hour to cut the weight. And then they said no more after it. He was 0.2 short. He could have lost 0.2 pounds in an hour very easily. It wouldn't have been the greatest thing. It's probably not the most healthy. They want to change the weigh-in times now, which I don't know. I'd have to look up the more research before I talk about it and give you guys a little honest output of what the actual repercussions are going to be trauma-wise to the brain and rehydrating. But it's already come out that you need at least 12 hours to rehydrate your brain after a cut anyway. So it's not going to be fully rehydrated. The thing is, does it matter whether it's 4 hours or 2 hours or 6 hours or 4 hours or whatever it may be when you're weighing in? I don't know. You have to look that up. It's up for you. Anyway, onto it. Yoel Romero gets into the fight. You look at the fight card afterwards. It was an amazing fight. I think it should have been a draw. Winner is Robert Whittaker off of that anyway. He remains. You do the rubber match. Or what you have now is you have Chris Weidman's readily available to come in and fight. And then you have Kevin Gastelum out in the wings ready to fight. Do you stagnate the division and have them fight again and watch Kevin Gastelum and Weidman hold themselves out until the next one? Or do you just do something real quick and you go Yoel Romero versus Weidman, see if Yoel can make the cut if he wants to stay at that weight. If they're not going to force him to go to 205. If he stays there, awesome. He fights Weidman. You have Gastelum, Whittaker for all the marbles. See who's going to be the best fighter, the new age, the young bloods. Let's say Whittaker wins. That's awesome. And you got Weidman beats Romero maybe. Okay, there you go. Then you have Kevin Gastelum against Yoel Romero to fight each other. And then you've got the next fight of Weidman versus Whittaker. You're going to see them fight. You never know what happens from there. You mix up the division a little bit. You pull 4 interesting guys instead of 1 interesting guy. See what goes. I think that Yoel Romero beats Weidman again. And then you have a Romero versus Whittaker round 3 for all the marbles to see what's going on. I also wouldn't mind to see Yoel Romero jump up to 205. I don't know how he's going to do against the likes of someone like Alexander Gustafsson, but you never know. Either way, Whittaker broke his hand in like the first or second round, or his thumb actually, in his right hand, and he was left-handed the majority of the fight, and you could see it because he wasn't throwing it. So hats off to him. He's amazing. A lot of us out there would never be able to consider that. We get a stubbed toe, and we don't want to walk around, or we got, oh my God, I'm in pain. Broke his thumb in a fight, and just, if you watch, he's swinging it towards the end there because why not, and he needs to win. So, I don't know. The scoring, the judges were a little off. He got dropped. Whittaker got dropped a couple times by Romero, and Romero didn't get the favorable extra round. I think they both scored like a 10-9. I don't know how it wasn't 10-8s or 10-7s in there anywhere. Whatever. It is what it is. That's the fight card, guys. That's UFC 225. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. It's pretty good. I mean, you've got awesome fights there with Colby Covington. You've got awesome fight with Holly Holm, Megan Anderson. It was domination, but still a good fight. Robert Whittaker, Yoel Romero was amazing. You look at the early prelims. Rashad Evans, it sucks he got knocked out. Benavidez versus Pettis was okay. Guido versus Oliveira was great. Claudia Gadelia Esparza. So go back and check out the card. Give it a little bit of life. The only one we didn't talk about, guys, is Andrei Arlovski and Tuivasa. We'll talk about Tuivasa later. I'm going to talk about Andrei Arlovski right now, and it's going to go into a little crazy spiel for you. Okay? The fight, in my opinion, was awesome. I believe it could have went either way. I think it could have went to be a draw. Tuivasa needed some cardio. Andrei Arlovski looked better than ever. Better than he ever has. He didn't look like he thought he was winning, so it looked like he took a little bit off. That, I think, killed him. If he would have put some pressure on and maybe done a little bit more, they might have given it to him. But he looked like he thought he had the fight by the middle of the second round. And he had already won it. He was bouncing around, being playful, which I don't mind and I love to see. But you got to attack him too. You got to show that you're winning the fight, and you gave it a chance for the judges to be like, maybe it was Tuivasa with all these heavy shots. We'll see. But hats off to both of them. Great fight. Arlovski, we're going to see him fight again, I'm for sure. And that's what brings me to this, guys. So if you haven't heard already, Chuck Liddell is come out of retirement. Yeah, let's wait for it. Everybody in the comment section is going to be hating, going to be yelling, why are you talking about Chuck Liddell? He shouldn't be fighting. Why is he even in here? You've got people like Brendan Schaub that are on his thing that are saying, shouldn't even be considered. It's a joke. Dana White saying it's sad. Joe Rogan not wanting to see it. A lot of these people saying that he shouldn't be doing this. I'm going to tell you to pump the brakes a little bit. I know. Just wait. Just listen. Hold on. Just pump the brakes. Pump the brakes a little bit. Come back. Calm down. Get a drink of water. Relax. I got something for you here. I'm going to break some little facts down. Mind me while I read real quick. I was thinking, as the Andrei Arlovski fight was going on, I go, is Andrei Arlovski Chuck Liddell? How long has he been fighting for? What is happening here? Like, it seems like I remember watching Chuck and Andre around the same time, around the same cards. But no one's telling Andrei Arlovski he needs to go anywhere, at least recently. They told him before he needed to retire, and what does he do? He comes back even stronger. He just keeps coming back. And that's against young talent. Okay? So, Chuck Liddell's return might be more legit than you think because of that. Just a little bit more legit. You got Andrei Arlovski on a main card, right? Okay? And on that main card, Joe Rogan stated, it's not for the money. It's because he loves his job. And Chuck Liddell has come out and said it's not for the money. It's because he's bored and he wants to get back at it, and he's always loved fighting and has always wanted to get back. Okay? So you've got that part of it as well. When Chuck left, let's see if I got the exact time when Chuck left. I believe it was in 2010. In 2010 is when Chuck left the UFC and retired, and it was all over. He had 6 losses by KO. Okay. Randy Couture, who had continued on to fight after 2010, I think it was only like 2011, though, what it may be, 6 KOs as well. But he still continued on, I think, even 4 fights. We're going to go and fact check this real quick, guys. I'm 100% sure that Randy Couture, Randy Couture had a decent, saltiest record, if I remember right, too, at the very end there. Let's go check. Let's fact check myself real quick. I always want to go and say that it's pretty thorough. Okay. So yeah, it was 2010, 2011 was Randy's last fight. He fought twice in 2010. Once before that in 2009, beating Brandon Vera. He beat Mark Coleman, destroyed James Toney, lost to Lyoto Machida. What are we doing? Okay, that's 2011. Okay, he kicked out of there, so you can say, I don't know. What are we going to do? What are we going to do there? You look at his record, though. When he left, 6-0 knockout losses, 4 submission losses, 1 decision. He has 19 wins. That's not that great of a record. Not that great of a record. Okay? While we're at it, we're going to pull up Chucky for you too. I'm going to pull up Chuck Liddell. We'll go over his record. But I just wanted to point out some things real quick. Hoist Gracie was 49 in his last fight, right? Put that through your head. He was 49 in his last fight. Chuck Liddell's 48 right now. So he'd be a year younger coming in. Chuck Liddell went out like this. Let's recap for you guys if you forgot. He knocked out Tito Ortiz. He got KO'd by Jackson, Quentin Rampage Jackson, that flash KO out of nowhere. Decision loss to Keith Jardine, which was a weird fight. He comes out back and he beats Vanderlei Silva. Okay? Gets KO'd by Rashad, KO'd by Shogun, KO'd by Rich Franklin. Very bad 3 back-to-back-to-back KO losses, right? He had fought, see if you look, 2007, 2007, 2007. So 3 fights in 2007. 1 in 2008, 1 in 2009, 1 in 2010. I don't think he had enough time to recover from those head injuries, number one. I don't think he had enough time to recover from that. I think he's taken some time. If you look at right now, we'll go back to the Andre Arlovski. In 2010, he was 15-8. Okay? He's 15-8. And had 10 KO losses. 10 KO losses. Was it 6 in 2010? 10 KO losses total, 6 in 2010. And he's in the heavyweight division. Which means he's taking more head damage, more brain damage, more overall trauma in his fights than Chuck Liddell is going to take at 205. From Rich Franklin, who's a smaller guy, Rashad Evans, who really isn't that huge. Quentin Jackson's a big boy. We know that. Shogun, not that big either. Not too huge. I mean, it's damage is damage. Right? We'll go over the KO losses again. Randy's got 6 in 2010. Chuck has 6. Andre has 6. Fedor had 2. Yeah, I'm bringing in Fedor. He now has 4. Fedor now has 4 KO losses. Right? So why is it so bad that Chuck Liddell comes back? Let's just say this is to start a promotion with Golden Boy and make Golden Boy MMA, and he's not really going to continue. He's just talking the talk and hyping it up and calling out John Jones and doing what he's doing. Okay. It is what it is. It's whatever. It's okay. I'm about it. He's going to be fighting Tito Ortiz. He's not fighting John Jones. He's not fighting Alexander Gustafsson. He's not fighting Daniel Cormier. Okay? He's fighting Tito Ortiz. Think about it. It's not that big of a deal. It's not. And you know what? Bring back TRT Vitor. Juice him up to get him to 205. Bring him in there a little bit. Let him fight him. That would be fun. You got a heavyweight tournament going on in Bellator right now that if you dropped Randy Couture in today to fill a spot because it needs to be filled, no one would blink an eye. No one would say anything. They went, Captain America's back. I can't wait. Let's go back to Randy Couture again. He's got a salty 19-11, 6 by knockout, and he fought in 2 divisions. He got knocked out by Lyoto, which was in his 205. But you also look, he lost by unanimous decision to Nogueira and TKO to punches by Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar fought Randy Couture and punched Captain America in his face. Over and over and over again. So why can't Chuck come back in? He's got the time off. He's still training. Andre Arlovski's still doing the damn thing. Let's bring up Andre for you. And I don't want to hate on Andre Arlovski at all. Because I really, really like him as a fighter. Why is he not coming up in Wikipedia? There we go. Yes, we're doing some wikis just to get some quick stats for you guys. Just to get some quick stats. So you look at his record. It's not bad. He has a total of 10, like I said, 10 losses now by knockout. All heavyweight knockout fights. Just lost to Tuivasa. Before that, he's got just 2 decision wins, a decision loss, a TKO loss, another TKO loss, another TKO loss. Crane kick and punches. There's a TKO loss in there. He does have 1 decision loss to Marcin Tybura in that as well. Everybody thought he should go away because he lost to Anthony Johnson. Then he beats Mike Kyle. He beats Andreas, can't pronounce your last name, Brendan Schaub, Antonio Silva, Travis Brown, Frank Muir. And then he goes on another, 5-fight losing streak. TKO, TKO, submission, TKO, decision. And now he wins, beats Junior Albini decision, and decisions Stefan Struve. Some would argue that he won this Tuivasa fight, or at least it was a draw. He's probably going to fight again. Right? I want to tell you when he started fighting, because this is going to blow your mind for this. All right? Let's go back to the very beginning. 1999 was his first fight, and it was a loss. Let's go to Chuck Liddell. 1998, he had a win. Chuck Liddell didn't suffer his first TKO or KO till Randy Couture in 2003. His first ever knockout on him. And the next one after that was a corner stoppage to Quentin Jackson in 2003 as well. He had 3 fights in 2003. And then he didn't start getting knocked out till later in his career. So just let that sink in. Going back to Andrei Arlovski, okay? Lost his first fight to KO. And now he wins 4. Then he loses by TKO. Then he loses by KO. Then he wins, goes on a streak. He beats Buntello. That was an amazing KO. Gets decisioned by Sylvia. Doesn't suffer a KO. Gets KO'd by Fedor. Gets KO'd by Brett Rogers. Decision by Silva. And then KO'd by Sergey, some dude I've never heard of in my life. It's a lot of early KOs. He's gotten a lot of KOs. A lot of knockouts. A lot of head trauma. By bigger guys. By heavier guys. That Chuck hasn't gotten. And he's still fighting. Yes, you're going to argue the point that he's a little younger, right? He's much younger. He's like 10 years the younger. 9 years the younger of Chuck Liddell. Is that really so much damage-wise when you've been taking damage? And Chuck stopped. While 8 years later, Andre's still fighting. So for 8 years, in that 8 years, you have, a decision to Anthony Johnson. Let's see if there's a KO in there. There is 1 KO starting in 2011. And then we'll go up, making that 2, 3, 4 KOs after the fact. He's been KO'd 4 more times after Chuck is already retired and Andre's still fighting. And he's in the UFC and he's on the main card. Why can't Chuck fight in a new promotion as their main event? Fedor's still fighting. I'm going to do this to you guys, and I shouldn't even do this. Just because I think you'll be like, no way, this never happened. Royce Gracie, who's considered to be one of the greatest MMA fighters, pioneer in the sport. It is what it is. He's got a really salty-ish record going on there. In a way, 15-2. It's a great record, but he's got some draws thrown in there. He's 15-2-3. I don't know why these draws were thrown in there or what reasons are going on. But Chuck Liddell stopped fighting in 2010. After 2010, you had Ken Shamrock fight Royce Gracie, and Royce Gracie won in Bellator 149. Royce Gracie won, TKO to punches. That was in 2016. Let's see how old Royce Gracie is right now. 51. 49 then. 1 year older than Chuck Liddell. And he comes back for a grudge match fight, right? It's Ken Shamrock. That's the grudge. Why can't Chuck come back and fight Tito and everybody just won't leave it alone? Is it because he had those viciousness? Because let me tell you what, I don't know if you saw the Matt Hughes, because I'm going to go back to that Matt Hughes stoppage right here. Where can we find that? That Matt Hughes loss in 2006 that Royce Gracie took, that brutal just, I'm going to be on top of you and beat the living crap out of you, and they looked completely different sizes? Come on. What are we doing? What are we doing? And Royce Gracie arguably took more damage over the time of his life. Bare knuckle fights, jiu-jitsu scraps in the gym where you can strike to the face. I mean, Chuck's probably had other fights out of these promotions. This is just in major promotions of his professional career. We don't know that part. It is what it is. I'm just trying to say that Chuck Liddell, just let him fight, man. Let him have a fight. You let CM Punk look like crap. You got Fedor fighting still. I don't understand. Chuck started 1 year after Randy, 1 year before Andre, and 2 years before Fedor. One fighter's retired, and he's retired probably arguably because he's got a successful gym and he's starting a successful acting career in Randy Couture. The Expendables, all those other movies he can be in. You just drop Randy Couture in this, Randy Couture in that. He's fine. He didn't need to do this anymore. If Captain America wanted to come back, I bet you they would be fine with him coming back. What if it was Randy Couture versus Fedor in Bellator? What? Everybody's losing their shit and they're going for it. Just saying. Give Chuck Liddell a chance. Just a little one. That's all I'm saying. All right. It's enough on that. I touched enough. Give him a shot, guys. That's all I'm saying. And this brings me to my favorite part of the show. It's the fighter spotlight. Bum, 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 bum. Who's the spotlight today, you ask? You already heard it here. It's Tai Tuivasa, the Australian. Oi, gotta love that Aussie. That guy is amazing to watch as a person. If you guys didn't watch UFC 225, his personality is amazing. And you know what? Let's do it over again. It's Tai Bam Bam Tuivasa. Gotta love Bam Bam. Bam Bam's an amazing name. If you want to go find him, check out some of the stuff he's going to be doing. Go to twitter.com. It's Bam Bam Tuivasa. Instagram, same thing, at Bam Bam Tuivasa. You can see all of his antics and what I'm talking about here. If you didn't know, he made his MMA debut back in 2012. In November 2016, he signed with the UFC after amassing, I believe it was 4 knockouts before entering the UFC. He ended up, which most people don't know, is looking at this, he got a 4-fight contract to the UFC in 2016, but he had to sit out an extended period due to a knee injury and a subsequent surgery. So he's had knee surgery. It's okay. It is what it is. If you haven't seen Tai Tuivasa, he looks body from the neck down. If you just took his head off, it's Mark Hunt. He looks just like the powerful Mark Hunt. He's trained with Mark Hunt. His fighting style looks a lot like Mark Hunt. He also has a little bit of a boxing record. He has a 5-2 boxing record. The 2 losses are only by unanimous decision. So no KOs there. No drops. No real worries. It's okay. I was a little worried too after looking at it. It's pretty impressive to me. So he does have that boxing background. He looked a little stiff in his fight. It looked like he was going and hunting for the KO. He made it into the 3rd final rounds as his big unanimous decision victory that he can go all the way. Does look like he needs a little bit more cardio. Does look like he needs a little bit more sharpening up, maybe some ground defense. But he's a heavyweight. And here's the thing about heavyweights. Heavyweights don't really necessarily need to be as skilled as all other weight classes. Hold. I know they're all talented. They're very skilled. But not many heavyweights are jiu-jitsu specialists. Not many heavyweights that you have are just going to be worried about their submission game. We had a few back in the day. You had Frank Mir. You had the Nogueira brothers. They were always out there looking for submissions. And they looked pretty. Not so much anymore. Not a lot. You got a lot of knockout artists. You got a lot of wrestlers. So as long as he can stuff the takedown, boost his cardio, hit those shots, and become a clean, crisp boxer, he's got a good shot to move his way up there. Because you look at a guy like Stipe. He could be a Stipe-ish clone. Stipe Miocic, if you guys don't know, he's the UFC heavyweight champion. I think we even have the rankings up right now. We'll talk about the rankings a little bit as well. Yeah, you've got Stipe up there with Ngannou at 1, Curtis Blades at 2. He kind of is below Stipe's ability. Stipe's got better cardio. He's got cleaner boxing. His takedowns are a little bit better, probably a lot better than Tuivasa. But Tuivasa's ranked after that fight at number 9, which is fine. Everybody he's above, I agree with. Marcin Tybura, I would already put him above him and Dos Santos. I think Dos Santos hasn't used anything on the ground to make me scared of him whatsoever in a while. After getting defeated by knockout a few times, he's got some issues. I believe Tuivasa jumps up. You're going to see Tuivasa probably take either the winner or the loser of Ngannou Derek Lewis, or a possible fight with Alexander Volkov, or a Marcin Tybura who's right above. Those are his options. So he's got to be up there in this talk of who he's going to be fighting next, who's going to be the next contender for him, what's the next in front of him. I say you feed him a little bit, maybe give him Marcin Tybura, maybe give him a Derek Lewis. Don't give him a Francis Ngannou yet. Unless, I don't know, it depends who wins that fight. I think that the Ngannou fight with Tuivasa, after he's gotten some, little bit of fights in the UFC underneath him, he's not feeling the pressure, he's now fully committed. I want to see that later on. I want to see if Ngannou can drop him, because Tuivasa looks like that Mark Hunt that's just going to go straight through you and keep on coming and keep putting that pressure and looking to take your head off. Love it. Absolutely love it. And the great thing about him, we'll go back to his antics a little bit more, guys. I love that he looks like Mark Hunt. He came out to that Titanic start, My Heart Will Go On. It's amazing seeing him open his arms, and this giant Samoan man singing this song is amazing. He wins the fight. He asked Joe Rogan for a shoe, because if you don't know, in Australia they do this lovely thing called a shoey, where they pour beer into a random person's shoe and chug it in one gulp. It's hilarious. It's fun. It's entertaining. If you don't love this kid, I don't know why. It's great. It's amazing to watch. He's fun. He's interesting. He's exciting. You can go check him out, like I said, on his Instagram. It's Bam Bam Tuivasa, Bam Bam Tuivasa on Twitter. He's got a lot of fun things you can go and look at. He's got his training partners out there in Australia. Other fun facts you might want to know about him that was pretty interesting that I thought, because of athleticism-wise. Former rugby player. I'll throw some pictures of rugby up here for you guys. You can kind of see him playing rugby. The boxing was cool as well. He was also the Aussie fighting champion, heavyweight championship for the Aussie fighting champion, or Australian fighting championships. So that's pretty interesting for him as well. So he's already been a champion in another organization, a lower organization, but he knows what it takes. So be on the lookout for Tai Tuivasa here in the next coming years, guys. I think he's going to be some of the resurgence in the heavyweight division. I think he's going to be part of the Curtis Blades movement, the Francis Ngannou, the Tai Tuivasas. Maybe you're going to hear something of like Derek Lewis, Alexander Volkov, these kind of fights. Those guys are going to be your new people. It's going to be really interesting to see. I'm very, very happy that that's going to be going on. With that said, I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in to the State of MMA Today, Episode 2. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think below in the comments section. Am I absolutely crazy for thinking Chuck Liddell should get that fight? It's only Tito Ortiz. Let me know below. How do you feel about Tai Tuivasa? You get a yes? You think a big thumbs up for the Aussie? Think he's going to do well? I do. I think he's going to be great. Let me know. If you don't, tell me. Let me know why. Share your opinion. I'd love to hear it. Also, guys, if you see it in the corners of this is sponsored by Onnit. Yep, that's onnit.com. If you go check out below, I'm going to have a link to my affiliate. Anything purchased through there is going to be going directly to this show, and it's going to help bolster it. If you go and check out my Instagram, it's at JROACH89. I'll be posting workout videos, health tip stuff, as well as my, foods of the day or whatever I choose to post, and some behind the scenes here of the Green Screen Studios. So if you're interested in that stuff, go check me out on Instagram and Twitter, both at jroach89. Again, I'm Jeremy Roach. This is the State of MMA Today. Thank you guys for tuning in. We're out.